We make machinery that is used to make traditionally banking cards. But over the recent years, we've developed specialist machinery that's more used now in the ID sector and in the loyalty sector. And there's some specific reasons behind that. The first is where these industries are going. There's a big concern right now, in particular, on telecommunications. There's been announcement by people like T-Mobile that they're actually going to get rid of the SIM card activity. A lot of the recharge activity has already fallen out of the market area now. And you can do recharging by point of sale. You can do recharging by ATM. You can do applications even on your phone to put money on and link that in now with like a PayPal account or an Amazon account to top up. But the big impact is going to be the stopping of what they call SIM cards. Now, SIM cards represent about 3 to 5 billion plastic cards a year. There's about 40 billion cards a year manufactured in our industry. About 3 billion of those are SIM. Now, when that goes, that's a lot of activity. Thankfully for us, we're not involved in that business because it's an injection molded card body, and then it tends to be personalized on a card-by-card level printer. However, it's going to have an impact on people who operate those business transactions, and things like the big players, Gemalto, G&D, Overture, Morpho. If we talk about the UAE, companies like Overture here, FutureCard, USP, a lot of their business wraps around the personalization and the issuance of SIM. But the operators don't like SIM. If you want to change a vendor, you have issues. If you want to change phone ownership, you have issues, normally involving a SIM change. Well, now they'll host that chip on the phone itself, and they will just host the application base on the cloud. So there's one topic of telecom. The next topic is banking. Banking, I'm pretty assured by some leading industry players, by the likes of MasterCard, Visa, by big banks, that cards are going to be around for another 20 plus years at least. They always have to have that device. It's backup. There's never going to be a migration of partners. You're never going to get Visa sharing with MasterCard. You're never going to get Bank A sharing with Bank B. They'll always have a sole identity. But it could be that maybe they will actually use those cards to fund some of the ID projects, so that your ID card or your immigration card is also your Visa or your MasterCard, and they fund it then. So banking is a good industry. We're heavily involved in banking on a global basis. We operate in 95 countries around the world. Wherever there's a growth, a demand, like what's happened in Eastern Europe, what's happening now in East Africa, what's happened in South America, in Russia, in Kazakhstan, where the volumes have grown enough and they want to go local. Now, the emerging sector is what they call identity. And identity is coming through many formats: driving license, national ID, health card, insurance cards, e-data pages on passports. Our company's moved into that sector, and we now work with governments around the world who are putting these projects together. And some of them are actually being done by private entity, where a private entity will be appointed by the government. You make that card for us. So the likes of Overture, Morpho, PW, strategic locations around the world, they're manufacturing these items, and we're quite heavily involved in that. And again, I see that as a 20 plus lifespan. So whilst telecom is going to probably in the next 5 years come to closure with plastic, I see banking, I see identity as continuing. Now, the other aspect is loyalty discount cards, where I could give you $100 gift card, and I bought that in advance. Now, if I give you $100, you might go out and spend $200 and not worry about the $100, whereas you may not have spent the $200. But you may go out and you might only spend $95, and $5 after 12 months stays in their bank. That's terms and conditions. Now that has been a huge market in America, billions of cards. A lot of them are big cards where you snap off the ISO part and use that. But you pay for that in advance. It's a cash cow business. And that's coming into Europe. The UK is leading that growth. It's coming into the Middle East slowly. It's coming into Asia slowly. And I see that as being a take-up market. That could take up a lot of the slack that's created by the telecom decline. So in summary, emerging market, loyalty, growing markets, banking, identity, a declining market in telecom. But when you look at these events, such as we've got now going on in Dubai, you can see the atmosphere. It's quite a wealth-set crowd here. There's a lot of software, there's a lot of business integration, there's a lot of business brokerage going on, and I'm also involved in that activity as well. So things are moving and people want to stay in the business. People aren't exiting this industry. More are coming into the atmosphere.